Good evening. My name is Jaime Chavez Alor. I'm the Latin America Policy Director at the Van Center for International Justice of the New York City Bar Association. We'll be having this webinar in English, but we're going to share a presentation that is in Spanish. Thank you very much for joining us. So today we're going to talk about the Total Law Prep Program. The Cyrus Van Center for International Justice is partnering with Talento Total in the Total Law Prep Program, a collaborative effort engaging law firms, bar associations, law schools, and pro bono clearinghouses to increase diversity and inclusion in the legal profession across the Americas. The Total Law Prep Program is designed to create a broad and ethic. I'm sorry, I'm trying to put the presentation. Okay, here it is. A broad and ethnically diverse leadership pipeline of highly talented Afro-descendant and indigenous lawyers. The Total Law Prep program will select candidates among Afro-descendant and indigenous law school students or recent graduates from countries in Latin America, including but not limited to Brazil, Colombia, the Dominican Republic, Guatemala, Mexico, Panama, and Peru. The program will provide candidates with 12 months of personalized guidance and support focused on considering and applying for an LLM program in the United States or Europe, and possibly afterwards working in an international law firm's international associate program. Each candidate will be paired with a mentor, a lawyer who earned an LLM or a JD degree at a top-tier program, who understands what law schools are looking for and has experience at the US legal system. Also, please share your questions in the comment sections. We will have time to get into those. Candidates completing the program with an LLM and possibly an international associate year will be primed for leadership roles in your home countries and will join a lifelong network of professionals committed to helping each other and improving diversity and inclusion in Latin America. Talento Total and the Van Center will provide a robust leadership and talent pipeline for major corporations, law firms, and other organizations through a rigorous professional development program that provides the skill sets necessary for success in global leadership and executive management. So, what is an LLM? It is a Master of Laws program. It is an internationally recognized postgraduate law degree. You need to be a lawyer to pursue an LLM, and most programs in the United States are a one-year full-time program. Some law schools offer general LLMs, in which you can pick and choose the courses you want to take according to your interests, and some other law schools offer specialized LLM programs. For example, Fordham Law School in New York City, great support of this program, offers a fashion law program, very specialized. For lawyers trained in civil law jurisdictions, an LLM is also an excellent opportunity to learn about the common law system, which provides an important understanding valuable for international practice at law firms, corporations, and other places. I want to introduce Carol Silva. She's the Chief of Staff at Talento Total, and Cesar Gallardo is one of our current Total Law Prep candidates. It's important to mention that this is the second year that we are doing this program. This is the second round of applications, which is now open. Maybe we can share the link with you where to apply. But it would be great to hear from Carol's perspective as a Brazilian lawyer, what you think this program has to offer to the potential candidates.
Hello, everybody. Good evening. It's a pleasure to be here and speaking a little bit about the program. The program offers to the candidates of the Total Law Prep program the whole preparation to apply for an LLM. But much more than that, the program offers the preparation to be a professional afterwards as well. So the Total Law Prep program is not just a program to prepare the candidates for an application, but to prepare them for the application for the LLM life and what comes afterwards. So it's a very complete program, and I usually tell the people we meet that Talento Total cares about its candidates, and the Vance Center as well. So in this program, we are really focused on helping our candidates to really succeed. That is our main focus, our main goal, to help them succeed in the paths that they choose. So I believe those would be the thoughts I would like to share tonight, that we really want to help these candidates to succeed and achieve their dreams. You are on mute, Jaime.
Sorry. Thank you, Carol. So, Cesar, you're one of the candidates the first year of this program. What can you tell us about the program? And something very important that might be relevant to hear from you is, well, first of all, who are you and why did you decide to participate in this program? But also, how this program is relevant to increase diversity in the legal sphere in Latin America.
Yes, sure. Thank you, Jaime. It's nice to see you, both of you, and thank you for everyone that is joining now. I'm still in the process, actually, in the mentorship, and I am a Colombian lawyer. I am from San Andres Island, an archipelago in the Colombian Caribbean Sea, and I actually applied to the program as a member of a minority in the country, as an Afro-Caribbean minority called the Rizal community, that is native of the islands, of the archipelago I just mentioned. I applied. The first call for candidates was actually last year, in the middle of the pandemic, and I was exploring many options, work options, academic options, and actually I found out about the program on LinkedIn, and I said, oh, well, this is a very cool program, very competitive, very selective, and I applied. I knew it was going to be very hard to actually get in, but I really felt connected and related to the values of the program. So why? Because I believe that actually there is a need for diversity in the legal profession, well, in the country and in the region in general. I am talking, of course, especially about Colombia, because that's the main area I know, but I know this is shared in Brazil, this happens also in Venezuela, in all the countries in Latin America, and it's very evident when you go to a law firm, when you go to a bank, when you go to a company. It's very rare to actually see the diversity of our countries represented. And as a member of a minority, as a native of a place that is very remote in a big country and a big diverse country, I know that there is a need for that. So yeah, that's what I applied. At this moment, I'm waiting for responses, for replies from universities. And yeah, I'm in that process still, but I'm happy to share what my experience has been so far.
Thank you, Cesar. I think that would be very helpful. And now that you mention it, I think it would be important to tell a little bit how this program was conceptualized. And over 2 years ago, maybe, we had a meeting with Talento Total. We learned about the program, about what they were doing. And just around that time, we got comments from some of our committee members, Vance Center committee members, that it was curious for them that the diversity of the region, of the Latin American region, was not being reflected on the pool of international candidates they were getting for foreign associate programs. and it wasn't the region's diversity wasn't being represented at the LLM programs at law schools in the United States. So the goal is that we will soon have these very high talented lawyers, including Cesar, from different countries in the region, not only coming to the United States to study an LLM, but also working at law firms, companies, international organizations. And let me ask you, Carol. So you're a Brazilian lawyer. Brazil is a very diverse country. So how you perceive this program is could be helpful, is being helpful for the Brazilian legal community in terms of diversity or to um, promote diversity within the legal uh, community.
Hi, I'm sorry, my connection went bad. Could you repeat the question?
Yeah, sure. So, was as a Brazilian lawyer, how do you perceive this program can help to promote diversity in the legal profession in your country?
Right. So in Brazil, Black people represents almost 6.
I think we lost Carol. She was having some trouble, but with her connection. So why don't we get back to you, Cesar? It would be uh, interesting if you could tell us. So, what is it that you're looking for in an LLM program? What are your plans once you come to the United States? How would you focus your LLM? And why? Maybe you can tell us a little bit about your previous practice.
Yes, I graduated from law school in 2016, and my practice has been mainly focused on real estate law and business, especially related to real estate projects in San Andres mainly. That's what I've done so far. Also, I have some exposure in international business law, and so my practice has been very related to the private sector. But I also worked in the civil government of my region for a year because I really have a very deep interest in public policy. So all these experiences actually have built I have built a multidimensional profile. And when I saw the opportunity to actually apply for the program and to go to the US, I see it as a tool or as a way to actually encompass all these experiences effectively and to earn a top-notch, renowned LLM program and work abroad. That's one of the main reasons actually I am applying, because I really want to have that international experience. And then I want to come back to my country, maybe after a year, and contribute, of course, work here in either in Bogota or San Andres, and contribute to my community and to my country for their development of the people, and of course contribute to the diversity. And the main areas I'm looking for in an LLM right now is international law and public policy. And so that's the main areas I'm actually looking for in this experience.
Thank you very much. Maybe we can go back to Carl.
Yeah, let's try again. I'm sorry, guys. The internet connection here is not really helpful today. So I was saying that in Brazil, we right now we have a population of Black people that is almost 60% of the population in the whole country. And when we look for the law firms in Brazil, we don't see a representation um, to the 60% in the legal field. So I see that this program is actually open the doors for the black population to get a specialization, come back to your home country, and be able to join these law firms and represent what Brazil is really really looks like. And when we talk about that, we actually need to think that on the legal world, you bring your own perspective and your experience and everything that you have lived before or that your family has lived. So it's important to have diversity in the legal section because of it, because you need to bring the reality of almost 6% of the population to the legal field. So um, that's why I see that the representation uh, not big in Brazil, and that's why we need to change this because we need the legal field to actually represent the population we have and the reality of most of the population in Brazil as well. And that can goes for the private section or to the public section of law.
Right. I think that's very important. Thank you for um, mentioning that. And of course, one of the uh, fundamental components of this program is giving back to your community. And that's why in the application you will see um, that one of the questions refers to what would you be willing to give back to your community after you've had this opportunity to study an LLM, to work in the United States or in Europe, uh, because promoting diversity, uh, it's not done with helping one person. Now this person needs to help more persons and a community, and this is one of the goals for the uh, TotalLAW program. So Cesar, I have a question for you. So when you decided you wanted to apply to this program, because you wanted to pursue an LLM in the United States, uh, I'm sure, or you had some understanding of what an LLM is. But I think it would be relevant to hear from you how your perspective changed after joining the TotalLAW program, how to look for a law school, your specific interests, and how do you think this program has helped you uh, to prepare you for this moment when you are now waiting to hear back from law schools? Uh, and what you think has been different joining this program?
Yes. Well, I had some idea of what an LLM actually is, and because yeah, as lawyers, we hear from that, and but as part of my I remember of the selection process before being selected as candidate for the Total Law Prep program, one of the things I actually mentioned was that I didn't know what an LLM was when I arrived to law school here in Bogota, and because it's not only the lack of opportunities but also the lack of information, or as I like to say, there is some um, unbalance between the information that some portions of the population get and other minorities get. At least that was my experience as being an islander and as being a native in San Andres. I could see how the information my some of my classmates from bigger cities got was very different from what I got before going to law school. So they already knew what an LMM was, and they already knew even from the first semester, from the first year in law, to which school they wanted to get in. I didn't know that at all. That, but I started to, I don't know, like change the perspective and understanding that, but still I never actually believed I could actually apply to any of these schools. And I think that's the main difference from before the starting the Total Law Prep program and right now. What's that? Actually breaking, or I don't know, like throwing aside the imposter syndrome that some of us know very very well, especially Latin Americans, when we, I don't know, go to Europe or the United States. And now I can actually say like, hey, this is not impossible. It doesn't matter if I come from, I don't know, from San Andres, or if I come from countryside Brazil or countryside Peru. I can actually achieve this, and actually bring my story, my unique story is actually an input that these law schools are very happy to take, not only academic or professional prowess. So I think that's the main difference, like breaking down the imposter syndrome.
Thank you, Cesar. That's very interesting. And let me follow up. So you were paired with a coach that help you work through this process, understanding how to prepare an application, what is relevant from your personal story, from your legal background to include it in an application. How was that process to you for you? How was it different uh, from other application processes you've had in Colombia, for example?
Yes, the application process was very very extensive and very time consuming and very deep. Actually, the something I would like to actually say to the people that might be interested in applying is that take your time, like in advance, because it's a long process. Even the recommendation letters are not actually letters, like they're actually very specific questions directed directly to your recommenders that are intended to actually get to know you not only on a personal level but also professionally and academically. So I would say it's very selective, very extensive application process that actually goes to the core of every applicant. Like the way the questions are drafted and are questioned actually get to every point of view, not only the academic level but also the professional experience, your personal values, your commitment, your goals, your even your, I don't know, like your flaws. I would say. So that I would say that's the difference. And I was paired with a mentor, and the selection of the mentor was actually related to my interest and my goals. So it's very very close. It's not like the program chooses someone that does human rights and you are interested in tax law. No, you are gonna actually be uh, helped by a mentor that understands your interests and goals. And the way she helped me and helps me to build my story and my candidacy towards law schools is really really meaningful. Like actually I could tell how I started telling my story from now. It's totally different. Like right now actually i can I can put on the table what I actually bring to the table. So yeah, I would say that's the difference.
Thanks, Cesar. That is very important, and thank you for mentioning, because all of our coaches and the persons we are working for have had not only the experience of applying to an LLM, being accepted to an LLM, uh, graduating from the LLM, but also working in the United States or somewhere else, which have which allows them to understand really what it is that these law schools are looking for, and how you can shape your personal story to tell a compelling story for law schools and their admissions departments. And Carol, let me ask you, you've been working with all of the candidates too. So uh, what do you think is one of the advantages of going through this process with these coaches? And what is this TotalLAW program uh, offering to the potential candidates interested in applying?
I believe, Jaime, that we offer to the candidates. Of course, the full support for them, but also we care about them, right? So the coaches really care how they can help each candidate to succeed. So there is monthly meetings that actually for most candidates became like a bi-week meetings with the coach. The coaches communicate outside of those meetings as well. So like how the coaches actually help each candidate to navigate their personal life with their academic, their prospective academic life and professional life. So I believe that is a big difference from the Talento Total and the TotalLAW Prep program. That we really care about our candidates, we really take care of them. And that is a big preparation for an LLM because the candidates will be leaving your home countries. Some of them will be their first time going abroad. So this whole preparation help them to really be ready for the LLM and to live the full experience of doing an LLM abroad. And as you said, the coaches, most of them are working, especially in the United States, so they are able to bring their experience, their professional experience, to the table for the candidate as well. Of course, they had their LLMs, they got their LLMs in the United States, so they are able to provide that experience as well. But I think it's important that they actually can provide the candidates with the experience that they can work in the United States for a year after their LLM and then come to their home country with a huge baggage that can really help them make the difference on their community.
Yeah, thank you. No, that's very important. And Carol, let me ask you something because we have a question here. So Danilo Farias is asking about the English requirement to join the program and about the English fluency that is required for an LLM program.
Right. So for the LLM program, and even to apply to the TotalLAW Prep program, we request that the candidate needs to have some knowledge in English language. So they need to be able to at least express themselves, right, for writing or speaking and understanding English. That is something needed to apply for the program, because then we can help them prepare, and with our current partnerships with the schools that have been helping Talento Total as well, we are able to provide them with English preparation in the legal section, as Fordham has been doing with us, as Duke has been offered to do with our candidates. So I would say to apply for the TotalLAW Prep program, they need to have like, but for the LLM, they need to really be prepared with their English, but we can help them to achieve this goal once they are in our program.
Thank you, Carol. This is actually very important. And maybe we can mention that different law schools have different requirements. So depending on the program, they would request a certain test, which the most common is the TOEFL. So depending on law school, you get a minimum requirement for like the score in your test. But this is something we're conscious about in the TotalLAW Prep program. And something very important to also keep in mind is that after you join the TotalLAW Prep program, you still have some time to practice and to prepare before taking the TOEFL exam or the IELTS or any other that is being required by the law schools. Also, law schools uh, provide some opportunities, like as Carlos was saying, to practice. So you have more, like over a year before you actually go to the LLM to also practice your English. Um, we have another question from Daniela Palacio. She wants to know about uh, the diverse populations that are the eligibility criteria for the developer program. So, Carl.
Yes, so the Total Law Prep program embrace diversity, but we are focused to the Afro descendants or indigenous people from Latin America. So we accept applications from everybody, but on the selection process, we will select candidates that are Afro descendants or indigenous. Um, so I don't know if it answers Daniela's question.
Um, yeah, I mean, she wants to know if it's open to other diverse populations within the countries. But as Carl was saying, this is a program that is specifically created for um, Afro-descendant and indigenous people in these countries, like all over Latin America, but it's very specific to racial diversity. And the criteria for this diversity is, of course, self identification, uh, but of course, being part of these communities and showing the understanding of the challenges these communities face is part of the application for the developer program. Um, okay, so I think we answered Daniela's question. So, Cesar, let me ask you, what would you recommend to the persons thinking on applying to this to the law prep program?
Yes, I first what I already said about time, like take your time to apply. Actually, like don't leave it for the last day because otherwise you're not gonna make it. It's a long process. Also, even if you are selected as a candidate for the program, English is a very important thing. Of course, that's we are lawyers. Our profession is based on communication, both speaking, reading, writing, listening. So it's a very important thing to actually have the skills in English. Of course, there is support, as Carol and Jaime were mentioning, by these very generous schools and very prestigious schools like Fordham and Duke. But also, like personally, you have to practice. Like at least for me, I took the TOEFL, and at least a month before my exam, I was preparing. I was practicing by myself every day, at least a few hours, and trying to sharpen my skills because that's the main that's the first obstacle you have to avoid when applying. Of course, we can do something about academic transcripts or academic credentials or professional experience, but if you do not have the English, schools are not going to take you. Why? Because thousands of people apply every year, and they have to select very few people. So that's the first thing they look at, like, can these people communicate? Okay, they do not reach the English level. I'm gonna keep looking for the other candidates. So that's a very important thing. Like not only what the program offers you, but also have personal commitment. Of course, English, but also on every level, professional, academics. That's something I would recommend. Also, I believe the program is very it's a very cool program. Like the people I've met, Jaime, Carol, Jem, and the other candidates are amazing people with amazing stories. But it's not only having fun, of course. We have a lot of fun in the program, but also a lot of work. Like for example, professionalism, punctuality, respect, I would say also cultural awareness, because we come from different countries, and also even inside the same country, as it happens in this cohort, we come from different regions with different stories, different challenges. So you have to be empathetic and culturally aware that you are sharing with people with different stories. And other than that, just be committed and be responsible and show how passionate and how excited you are about studying in Europe or the US. This is a great opportunity, so I would recommend to anyone.
Thank you, Cesar. And I think it's very important that you mention the amount of work this program requires because it's a big commitment. So you or a person wanting to apply to an LLM needs to take a lot of steps before actually sending the application. So it's a lot of work, and we're looking for people who are willing to commit to this program. Um, as you've seen, as I mentioned before, the number of candidates accepted or admitted to this program is limited. So we are really looking to work with persons that are really interested in coming to the United States or Europe to study in LLM and to pursue this path. Cal, what would you recommend to potential applicants?
I recommend them to, as I said, to really think about the hard work that they need to put into and the responsibility. And and I say that because you really need to be committed. And I see our candidates, they tell me how much work they have been putting in, and how this actually prepared them for the LLM, because they are aware uh, that the LLM will actually require a lot of hard work and a lot of responsibility. But furthermore, I think I would say that um, they really should consider uh, if the before applying, if the LLM is something they really want to commit right now in their life, because we have seen that some people really want to do the LLM, but with the current situation in their life, it kind of it doesn't fit. So I believe like planning ahead, thinking, okay, I want to apply for the Total Law Prep program this year because I want to go get my LLM in the following year, or if I should uh, deal with my professional life or personal life this year and apply for the Total Law Prep program the following year to get the LLM 2 years from now. I think the preparation is very important. So taking the time to plan ahead and to see how the LLM and the Total Law Prep program can fit in your life, it's very important because it connects with everything that Cesar mentioned. So yeah, I believe that would be it. And as Cesar said, we have some fun too, guys. It's not just hard work. We have some fun. Last week we had happy hour, online happy hour for all the candidates. So I could see that they had some fun. They were able to connect and relax a little bit more. So it's a lot of hard work, but you also have time for have a little bit of fun and connect with a lot of people from all around the world.
Thank you, Carol. And thank you for mentioning that, not the fun part. I'll get into that later. But so about thinking if this is something you really want and your goals in short and medium long term. This is relevant because law schools will want to know about this. So, what have you done before applying to an LLM? What is it that you expect to do after the LLM? So, those are relevant aspects. And of course, candidates work a lot with their coaches to frame this in a way that is like makes sense for a professional legal career. Um, and about the fun part, I'm glad you mentioned that. Also because part of the LLM is not only uh, like studying and the uh, master's degree and doing homework and the readings, but the LLM is also a life experience in which you are allowed to have a lot of fun. So I think, and at least it was for me, the LLM is a life changing experience. And this is something that you need to keep in mind. And that's why you need to work hard because this is something that is going to really, really change your life. Um, Camilo Quiñones is asking about the GRE. Uh, the answer, Camilo, is no. Uh, GRE is not a requirement to apply for LLM programs. It is for other master's programs like the MBA or other Masters of International Affairs or Public Affairs, but not for the LLM. So, because this is good news, generally law schools require TOEFL score. Some, as I said, depending on the law school, is the score you need. Some law schools require 100, others 105, others a little bit more, some a little bit less, like 90 something. You need to work on a personal statement, your application answering tons of questions, essays, Cesar mentioned letter of recommendations, but no, you don't need the GRE.
And Jaime, can I ask you a question? Uh, for you, one, what was the best thing about the LLM? Let's inspire everybody who is listening to us, watching us right now. What was the best thing about the LLM for you?
Well, it's hard to pick one, but I would say several things. So first, so I did my LLM at Columbia Law School. I loved coming to New York City, not only because like Columbia Law School is very good, but the fact that you're in New York City gives you a lot of opportunities, like the depending on what your legal focus is, but there is something for everyone. So you have the big law firms, you have international organizations like NGOs like Human Rights Watch, you have the United Nations. So there's a lot to do here besides like the studying and the LLM program. I also had a lot of fun because New York City can be very fun. Maybe not right now during the pandemic, but hopefully will be soon. It would end soon. So that was also very fun. I had great classes, courses. I had amazing teachers, um, and it was also a great opportunity to learn people from all around the world. Cesar was mentioning about this cultural aspect. That is something that in the LLM program it's fundamental because at least my LLM class was I think around 300 people from all over the world. So uh, getting to know these people from different countries, different places. And New York City was very fun because you would have someone from I don't know, Japan taking you to their favorite Japanese restaurant in New York. So you learn a lot about different cultures. So for me, it was a life changing experience.
Very nice. Thank you for answering that.
There's another question from Danilo about the funding. So the program is helping in this part. Would you say, Carol?
So Danilo, Talento Total does not offer funding, but we help our candidates to find the funding that they need. It's important to mention that all the candidates that have applied to law schools from our current Total Law Prep program has received scholarships, right? So the schools are very impressed with the Total Law Prep candidates. So they want them to be part of their program. So they offer scholarships. Some of them are not able to offer 100% scholarships. So we help our candidates to find funding as well. And it's important to mention that Jen and I used to say to all the candidates, let's put stuff in perspective. So the first thing we need to worry about is not about the funding, it's about getting the TOEFL done, getting your application done, submitting everything. So like I know it's a big issue. It was for me as well before I joined Talento Total. But once you're in the program, I believe you start having a bit more of perspective and what we need to worry about first before we're talking about funding. But so wrapping up, Talento Total helps their candidates to find funding. And the
Yes,
Vincent.
yeah. Sorry,
Listen,
I don't know, Jaime. Can I jump in that regard?
please, please, please.
Yeah, to answer to Danilo, that is something you have to have in mind. Like Talento Total and the Band Center, the program, do not offer direct funding, but they do have, or they have built a very strong network of law schools, law firms, practitioners, scholars that actually help you reach many opportunities to actually get funding or get education opportunities. Um, of course, I don't want to bring numbers or anything, but in my experience, I applied like for I think 6 or 7 law schools to this point. I the minimum the program asks you to apply is at least 5, so that's something you have to have in mind. I applied a few more because I wanted to have more options, and of that 7 universities, I actually have been admitted to all of them but one, and all of them have actually awarded me with scholarships, and the scholarships have not been little to say it in some way. Actually, have been very meaningful of at least, I don't know, from ranging from 25 to 40% of the tuition, or even so. That's something very meaningful. Of course, it's very expensive to study abroad, especially if we come from developing countries with rather weak currencies as our countries. At least I'm talking for the Colombian peso in this regard. But yeah, it's possible. Of course, it's a sacrifice in time and money in some way. But as Carol said, first you have to focus on the TOEFL to pass that and to get admitted, and then you have to worry about how to get the money. So yeah, but I wouldn't worry because, as I said, I actually have received very generous scholarships to this point, and also the application are very expensive because for each school you have to pay at least $120, and also we some of us got application fee waivers, so we didn't have to pay those $100, which is a lot of money if you exchange the to your local currency. So yeah.
Thank you, Cesar. That's very helpful. And just let me add that law schools are very interested in getting candidates like you, like Afro-descendant and indigenous lawyers from the region, because of the structural situation we've discussed before. They're interested in getting lawyers like you. So if you present a strong application, the funding will follow. I can say this because it has been published in the Band Center's webpage. But for example, well, we've had conversations with several law schools in the United States. And for example, Fordham Law School here in New York City offered 3 full scholarships for the TotalLAW program candidates. So, as Cesar and Carol mentioned, you shouldn't be worried about that at this point.
Yeah, even as Jaime said, like, I don't know, like that opportunity to actually be in New York on a full ride scholarship, something that very few people get, and we the program has actually achieved that by shaping our and boosting our own unique personal backgrounds, our own unique experiences, and to bring diversity. Like law schools, as Carol said, are very impressed, and I can say that from the exchange I've had so far with admission officers or assistant deans and all the people I've met, like they actually are very committed, and this is just the first class. I can just imagine when this year comes, the next class or the third and fourth class, and the idea of the program as I see it and as Carol and Jem and Jaime have mentioned is actually building a brand that works for diversity, and that every candidate that goes to the US or to Europe and to these schools actually brings their history and their personal background, but also excellence and commitment and solidarity, I would say. So yeah.
Thank you, Cesar. Carol, any final comment?
I think my final comment will be, uh, let's plan, guys. You that are watching, you that is watching us. Uh, Make sure to write down your plan, your short-term goals, your middle-term goals, your long-term goals. See how the LLM fits, and if you see it fitting, apply to your program. We are very excited to read your applications and to talk to you and to connect with you. So please apply. If you have any questions, please make sure to connect with us. I will write down my LinkedIn and my Talent Total email so you guys can contact us as well. And uh, yeah, we are excited. We are very excited. We had a wonderful experience with the past TotalLAW prep candidates, and we are sure we will receive even more candidates and wonderful stories and wonderful candidates. So thank you so much. Thank you so much to the Van Center. Now I'm speaking for Talento Total. Uh, all this would not be possible without the Van Center help. So thank you so much to the Van Center, and thank you so much, Jaime, because I know it's a lot of energy and effort that you have been putting in this program with us. So thank you so much.
Oh, and thank you, Carol. This wouldn't be possible without Talento Total, without Jem, and without you. So we'll keep working. Thank you very much, Cesar. This has been very, very interesting. You can see in your screens the link to apply to the program. I think somewhere there's also an email address in case you have further questions. Please let us know. Contact us through LinkedIn, Twitter. We'll be happy to answer your questions, and hopefully we will be looking at your applications very soon and have you on board this program. So thank you very much again, and we'll stay in touch.